Hello and welcome back into Live from the Plains. My name is Daniel Locke. This guy is Logan Fowler. We appreciate you guys bearing with us through the holiday break that we both took. It was a long semester for both Logan and I in the fall, balancing school as well as pretty much a full time load on the Auburn beat. So, really appreciate everyone listening who asked, understanding that we just quite frankly just needed a break. We were both feeling a little burnt out, um, and decided to use winter break to rest up. So my winter break was good. Logan went out to Colorado, did some skiing, came back in one piece. We're happy to see that for sure. And
Absolutely.
so why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Logan?
Yeah, man, it was a good trip. It's real cold up there in the mountains, but yeah, no, it was fun. It's the first time I've been skiing since I was a young lad, so that was definitely a neat trip.
Yeah. Everything pretty much has stayed the same for Logan from a professional perspective. Since the last time we recorded, I have an update on the professional end. I am no longer with Auburn Tigers on Sports Illustrated. I joined the team over at Auburn's rivals affiliate, auburnsports.com, for my final semester and for my final stop on the Auburn beat before I venture out into the real world. In addition to that, I've started my first post grad gig on the side as a beat reporter covering the New Orleans Pelicans for Clutch Points. So if you are a New Orleans Pelicans fan or an NBA fan at all, or if you just like me, I would greatly appreciate you checking out the things I've written over there. Really enjoyed it so far. Can't wait to relocate down to the Big Easy over the summer and start my post grad life just living a very short distance from Bourbon Street, one of my favorite places in the world, as Logan knows. Also, home of the best team in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints. Logan knows that's true as well, isn't that right, Logan?
Yeah, the best team in the NFL they are. Yes.
Yep. If all other 31 NFL teams disappeared, yeah,
That's-
that's about what it would take. All right, so 3 minutes in, got the intros out of the way. Auburn basketball is number one in the country, Logan. They've won 7 or 8 in a row, or more.
I want to say that's nine in a row now.
9 in a row. Number one in the country. Only sat behind Tennessee at number two for what was it, 5 weeks? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I believe the Duke game was probably the last game we talked about on the show. Maybe even Richmond.
Yeah, we talked about one of the non-con games, right there at the front of December break. I think that was Richmond.
Okay, we'll just pick up where we left off. Auburn beats Georgia State. Janai Broom goes down with a shoulder injury. Janai Broom returns for the Purdue game. Someone broke that news first. I don't know who. Someone named Daniel Locke. Sounds like a complete loser. Just kidding. Got to have a little fun messing with yourself, because if you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun of? So yeah. Then Auburn takes care of business against Monmouth to round out non-con play. Auburn dominates Missouri to open up SEC play. Auburn goes on the road to Texas, ultimately has a scare, but ends up getting the job done. 2-0 in SEC play. Heads over to Columbia, South Carolina. Another scare. Janai Broom leaves the game with about 13 or 14, somewhere in there, minutes left in the second half with a ankle sprain. Auburn survives another scare, gets the job done to improve to 3-0 in conference play. And the Tigers earn the number one ranking because Tennessee lost. Then opened up, or had its second SEC home game on Tuesday night, and picked up a convincing 88-66 win over number 16 Mississippi State.
Number
I believe
15.
all those numbers are correct.
Yeah, number 14, Mississippi State.
14?
14 or 15, weren't they?
I don't know. Somewhere in there. It's not far off. Mid-teens. And now
Number
Auburn's
14.
got do what?
14.
14. Okay. And now Auburn is taking on another ranked opponent in the Georgia Bulldogs on the road at Stegman Coliseum this weekend. When I was on the Rundown, which is Rivals podcast earlier this week, JG Tate referred to it as the jacuzzi. I'd never heard it called that before, but evidently it looks like a jacuzzi.
Mhm. I've never been there.
I've been there once. I went last year.
Yeah, I thought about for a second going over there.
Why don't you
Earlier.
tell people what ultimately led to your decision to not do that?
Oh, Daniel Locke's got a birthday party Saturday.
Daniel Locke's got a birthday party Saturday.
Um, but yeah, so long stretch of games here that we kind of missed. Obviously, Auburn has not lost a game since losing that one in Cameron Indoor Stadium to Duke. Um, you know, dominated the rest of non-conference through there, which those were some. Well, they had Purdue, Ohio State.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't even mention the Ohio State game.
Yeah, I mean they dominated those teams. Um, Obviously, uh, they start SEC play with Missouri, pick up a pretty convincing win. And in the past couple games, like you mentioned, against Texas and South Carolina, they've allowed Colin Murray Boyles at South Carolina, and then oh goodness, the forward from Texas.
Arthur something. It was another double name, I think.
Yeah, they allow both of those guys to go off for like career nights. Both it's kind of funny. Both of those were mainly front court players. Colin Murray Boyles for sure. The Texas forward, he was more of a front court guy, but he could definitely play some of the three, kind of the wing position. But the front court. If you had to pick a weakness of this Auburn basketball team, I guess thus far it would be, the defense down low in the paint. Or I guess one of the issues with this team. It's kind of funny. We talked to Bruce today about how Auburn, Denver Jones, Miles Kelly, Chad Baker, Todd Pettiford, all those guys in the backcourt, they tend to really shut down an opposing team's best player, at guard. They've done it with Hubbard. They did it with Maxey, I believe it was. They did it with Braden Smith. I mean, they've done it with a bunch of different guards throughout the season this year. And obviously, Janai Broom goes down in the South Carolina game. Auburn picks up a pretty convincing win without him, showing that they are definitely worthy of that number one ranking against. Oh my goodness, who did
Mississippi State
play Tuesday? There we go, Mississippi State. We just talked about it. Handled them pretty convincingly. I think if there's another thing that you got to nitpick on this Auburn squad, this team seems to really jump out to a lead, start off the game. And then, at some point in that game, they're going to go on about a 5-minute stretch, 5 to 6, 7-minute stretch where they just go cold. And
it's almost like they just get bored.
Yeah, they allow the other team to kind of go on a run. For example, the Mississippi State went on a 17-4 run there, kind of midway through the second half.
Yeah, like Texas cut. I can't remember. Was it a 21-point lead down to like 3 or 4?
Yeah. I mean, that one obviously was a closer game, but you look at that Mississippi State game and they still won by 22 points. Imagine if they don't go on that cold stretch. So I mean, I think that's another thing that you kind of got to nitpick is, they kind of seem to, kind of lull for stretches in some of these games. And I still don't think since conference play has started, they haven't played their best basketball yet. And I don't think that's going to happen without, Janai Broom being on the floor.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that because I was about to make a note there. Bruce Pearl said today that, and I quote, Janai Broom would not practice today. Today, Thursday, as this is being recorded. So that means probably a no-go for Saturday, which I honestly think is for the best because then Auburn gets a week off before that huge game against a Tennessee team where I know that they obviously are not number one anymore because Auburn is after that Florida loss, but I don't think they would have dropped too far from losing to another top 10 team on the road. Do you know what Tennessee's ranked, or do you have it in front of you?
Were they not? They I think they were 4, correct?
I can't remember. Something like that.
No, 6.
6. Okay. So I think it's definitely Auburn can get the job done against Georgia without Janai Broom. So obviously it would help to have him on the floor.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's not like it's going to make the difference.
No, I mean, Bruce mentioned today Asa Newell. He's been a guy for Georgia, leading scorer at 15.3, reeling in 6.6 rebounds. He's reeled in 61 offensive rebounds, more than he has defensive rebounds.
I wonder if he's playing with the chip on his shoulder because ESPN still hasn't uploaded his picture to the website.
Yeah. So, they've got another big test down low on Saturday. Obviously, like we just mentioned, that's kind of been more of a weakness, that front court playing defense. Obviously, Janai Broom is a great defensive presence, although Colin Murray Boyles was really getting after him before he exited early against South Carolina. But just as they did against Mississippi State, I mean, Dylan Cardwell and Chaney Johnson are going to have to defend without fouling. And against Mississippi State, you could kind of notice maybe on some occasions where typically Dylan Cardwell and Chaney Johnson are going to go after some blocks. But I think you did kind of notice there were some buckets that they gave up, just to stay out of foul trouble, which ultimately I think Chaney ended up with 4 and Dylan with 3. But in the first half, they only had 1 apiece.
Which was huge.
Yeah, it was huge. You still kind of want to see Auburn's rebounding efforts pick up a little bit. Ultimately, I know that the rebound battle between Mississippi State and Auburn was at one point 25-17 in State's favor. I don't know what it ended up being. But that's something that you kind of want to see pick up a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think that Auburn needs Janai Broom Saturday. Let him rest, give him another, full week to rest before probably attempting to come back for a potential top 5 matchup and one where game day could potentially be at Neville Arena.
Yep, that would be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to be at that game because with Rivals, I'll be helping Caleb Jones, who we've had on the show. Who we've had on the show before. I'll be helping him with Junior Day coverage, which is something new for me. Pretty excited about that. Little shameless self-promotion there. But, yeah, that game will be huge against Tennessee. And as you mentioned, you hope Janai's back if you're Auburn.
Right. I think that Tennessee – they put a pretty good whooping on Florida the other night, did they not? It was like a 20-point. Ooh, I'm sorry, dude. I just get in front of this camera and I start yawning.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Tennessee
about.
and Florida played again that quick?
No, I'm thinking Georgia. They put.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But no, I mean, yeah, that's always a good game. It's the outlive game at Auburn too. So that'll be a good one. But you gotta pick up a win against Georgia first. I don't know how, we obviously didn't talk about Chad Baker and Mazzara going for 20 points in Tuesday night's win. Chaney went for 17. Miles Kelly getting in there, rebounding, doing the dirty work. 13 point, 10 rebound, double. And I mean, that's what it's going to take without Janai Broom. It's going to be a collective effort. Guards are going to have to get in there and do the dirty work, pick up some rebounds. They're going to have to obviously hit shots when they get open shots, and they did that the other night. Double-digit three-pointers yet again. And I mean, talk about the defense from Auburn on Tuesday night. I mean, Hubbard, more than half of his points came from the charity stripe. I should have pulled up their stats real quick before, but I think they shot. Let's just pull it up real quick because I don't want to get this wrong. Let's see here. They shot
I'd pull it up, but my internet's shaky as it is.
35% from the field. They were 22 out of 63 on field goals. I knew it was 13% from three-point range. They hit 3 out of 24 shots. Now, you can call that a cold shooting night for Mississippi State if you want to, maybe. They just hung the previous game 90 points on Kentucky. So, I think it's a testament to Auburn's defense. I mean, they really get after it defensively, guys, especially like guys like Denver Jones. I mean, he is so underappreciated. I think. I say that. I don't think he's underappreciated. He just kind of gets overlooked at how valuable he really is for this Auburn squad. Playing point guard, and obviously with the JP Pegues situation, Denver Jones coming on at that one spot has been huge. Him and Tahad have been a great pair, handling point guard duties. And then obviously Miles Kelly, Tahad, Chad Baker, those guys, along with Denver, shooting higher than 40% from the field.
Right, and that's one thing that I don't think is being talked about enough about Denver Jones is how he is playing a new position.
Yeah.
He was at combo guard last year, primarily a shooting guard, and this year he's got to run the point, and I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
really, really good defender. I think that at this point in the year, what's up?
I was going to say, with him running point, to back up your argument here, Auburn was, a couple weeks ago, leading the country in assist to turnover ratio with him handling ball handling duties. So, and he didn't even do that.
And I really feel like he kind of hides behind your Janai Broom and your Chad Baker Mazzara and your Chaney Johnson a little bit. But yeah, he does. He's been incredible. I don't really know why that his name doesn't really seem to be up there with everyone else.
Well,
but
he hasn't had a game where he goes for 15, 20 plus.
True. Which is funny. It's funny you say that, because I was just about to say, when we were going to get into our Georgia predictions, that's one of the things I think is going to happen on Saturday.
There you go.
I think this is the Denver Jones takeover game.
That's probably really the only reason you don't hear his name mentioned a whole lot. Also, he's doing the dirty work on defense. But yeah, it's gonna have to be a group effort, like it was on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Well, we will see if Auburn gets the job done, and we will speak with you again before the Auburn-Tennessee game. But yeah, for now, I think we're going to move over to the football side of things a little bit and give a little Auburn football recruiting update. According to Rivals, Auburn's 2026 class is currently ranked number 6 in the country. The Tigers have 6 commitments in the bag. And if my internet was running a little quicker, I would just love to tell you about those players. So, just bear with me for 1 second. Almost there. Okay. So, that's the 25 class. Logan, why don't you tell us what you had for lunch today while my thing loads here?
What I had for lunch today, I had a beef tenderloin steak with a fried egg.
Sounds delicious.
That's all
I've
right.
got the stuff now. No, you're good. All right. So you've got 4-star wide receiver. Side note: 5 of these 6 recruits are 4 stars, and there's 1 3-star. So you've got 5-star wide receiver. Come on, Daniel. You just said what you've had. 4-star wide receiver Denarius Gray out of Hollywood, Florida. You've got a guy who I've been excited about since he committed. 4-star linebacker Shadarius Tootle out of Mobile. I just really cannot wait for him to get on campus. And I really hope he just takes over because Shadarius Tootle, I mean, come on now. You've got 4-star defensive end Hezekiah Harris from Huntsville. You've got another 4-star linebacker and Jamichael Garrett from Gulf Shores. You've got Wayne Henry, a 3-star defensive back from Baltimore, Maryland. And most recently, Devin Carter, a 4-star wide receiver from Douglasville, Georgia. He committed to Auburn less than a week ago. Everyone else in Auburn's 2026 class has been a member of the class for a very long time. Denarius Gray committed on New Year's Day of 2024. Shadarius Tootle, Hezekiah Harris, and Jamichael Garrett all committed at Big Cat Weekend prior to the 2024 season. Wayne Henry committed on August the 5th. So Auburn went for a while without adding a new recruit to this class, like over 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, they started off pretty hot, number 1 team in the country there for that 2026 class for a while. Obviously, I think that on pretty much all recruiting sites that the Devin Carter commitment jumped them up, back into the top 10, some in the top 5 maybe. Yes, pretty strong recruiting efforts from Hugh and his staff there in that 26 class. Obviously, I know we're talking recruiting, but I don't know if you can talk recruiting without mentioning Charles Kelly. Charles Kelly is no longer on staff. TJ Rushing taking over for him, and then Rock Bellantoni taking over for Josh Aldridge there for that edge spot. Those 2 guys are 2 big recruiters already making an impact there in that 26 class as well. You'll probably be there. Auburn's set up to have a pretty big junior day next weekend. Unfortunate timing. Actually didn't think about this. Tennessee game is a 7:30 tip-off, so that could work out in your favor there.
We'll see. I imagine that Caleb and I are going to be burning the midnight oil on all of the recruiting stories that day.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty big junior day set up already. Obviously, I don't know all the visitors off the top of my head. Maybe you could help me out with that. But strong. I was gonna say I don't know all the visitors for junior day that they've got lined up. But
I'm blanking on it now, but there are quite a few names.
Yeah, I mean I've seen announcements all over the place. Strong start for that 26 class. Obviously, you're not doubting Hugh Freeze and his staff on what they can do on the trail. So be interesting to see how that class unfolds over the next year. And then also, we talking a little recruiting. The portal season, or the winter portal season, I should say, is officially wrapped up for the most part, bearing any entries from those playoff teams yet to happen. But Auburn has a pretty good transfer portal haul. Obviously, they got I think they improved in the quarterback room with Jackson Arnold and Ashton Daniels, who will not be here in the spring. So that kind of gives Deuce Knight some a good opportunity to make some run there. But yeah, I mean, I think you improve that room. It's going to be interesting to see how Jackson Arnold improves from a year ago. I don't think anything he really did a year ago will excite that many people, Auburn fans. But I mean, I think you look at him, as the 5-star coming out of high school. I mean, you see the potential. It's definitely there. So be interesting to see how he fits kind of into Hugh Freeze's system. Obviously, you get the running back. Good grief. What is Darnell Robinson? Is that his name?
The UConn guy? Yeah, something like that.
Darrell Robinson from UConn. Obviously, I think the running back room is you're going to take a hit losing Jarquez Hunter. I think any running back room will just about take a hit losing him, but obviously still pretty solid there. And then another big, humongous pickup, Eric Singleton. Huge number one receiver out of the portal, coming over from Georgia Tech, just a big playmaker. Obviously Auburn and staff are hoping for him to kind of fill the shoes of Keandre Lambert-Smith and kind of make that same impact that he did a year ago. Pair him with Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, those guys, and you're looking at a really, really talented wide receiver room. And then I'm not going to go through the rest or the whole haul here, but
we can do another show in the future where we like really break it down.
Yeah,
but for this kind of broad stroke,
you get the two tackles that are also just huge pickups, and Xavier Chaplin and Mason Murphy. I mean, Xavier Chaplin, if he pans out to be what is expected of him, that's going to be a huge pickup. And he'll potentially lead, the best offensive line at Auburn since probably 2017. So
I would agree with that. Really big
pickups.
Agreed. And I think that Auburn addressed its weaknesses better than just about any team in the country. And we've said it before, Hugh Freeze is putting everything, he is all in on year 3. And the team's got to win. And we'll talk about this more a little later on as we get into the spring. Right now, we kind of got to keep it rolling. So heading over to the other team that plays inside Neville Arena, not quite as sunny skies over there, Logan, as the Auburn women's basketball team is 9-8, 0-4 in conference play. They've dropped 5 games in a row. They beat the Alabama State Hornets, 83-40 on December 21st, same day that Auburn beat Purdue. And then their non-conference finale, right after a holiday break, they lost 63-57 to Norfolk State, who is not an awful program. Like from what I've been told, they're a somewhat consistent tournament team on the women's side. Don't quote me on that because I didn't verify it. But somebody who is having a phenomenal year for the Auburn Tigers women's basketball team is 6'2" senior forward Deanna Gaston, who is averaging 22.3 points, 8.4 rebounds a game, and is shooting 52.7% from the field. So, and 50% from beyond the arc. So, Deanna Gaston's a hooper. And Talia Scott is a hooper as well. And Auburn will hope to get her back on the hardwood in due time. But roommate just sneezed very loud. Someone that we've got to talk about ahead of Auburn's game, or as this is being recorded tonight against number 5, Texas, I think.
It's number 7.
Something like that. Number 7, Texas, is Yuting Dang. I apologize if I pronounce that incorrectly. But Auburn, this will be her first game.
She's China. She is playing tonight. I don't know why I didn't. I knew she was over here. I didn't realize she was playing tonight. Interesting.
Sure is. Yeah. So that'll be an interesting. Do what?
I said I might tune in and see what she looks like.
Yeah. I I'll be at church when they're playing, but I'll for sure catch the highlights or maybe even rewatch the game when I get home if it's a close one. But yeah, I'm interested to see that. And to kind of wrap us up today, Auburn gymnastics opens up the season, but has their first home meet on Friday night against Arkansas. Fans are supposed to wear white, 6 p.m. Central Time at Neville Arena. So if you are going to support Jeff Grabe's team, wear white. If not, SEC Network will carry the broadcast. So who knows? If you go to this meet, you might see Logan and I there.
Maybe you might see Daniel there.
I mean, you're competing on bars, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're making your debut.
Yeah.
No, if Logan and I were to do that, the injury report would gain 2 members very, very quick.
Yeah. That
All
would
right.
went to the team there.
Bags. I think that's about going to wrap us up today, Logan, unless you've got anything else.
No, it's it's a busy time, but it's not as busy. It's we got basketball, like you said, both men's and women's, and it's kind of the only sport that I'm covering at the moment. So that crossover between football and basketball is over. It's been over for a couple months now, actually, but gearing up for let me just say I'm enjoying covering this basketball team right now. They're really fun to cover, really fun to watch. Super blessed and that I'm able to do that, and then also kind of gearing up for some baseball out here. I will say I am ready for baseball and to see what Auburn looks like. They should be much improved there.
Yeah, I was retweet everything Logan said. Excited for baseball and softball to start as well. But you can find me on Twitter or X at Daniel J. Locke. Yeah, first try. And you can find my written work now over at Auburn Rivals, or if you want to read my New Orleans Pelicans stuff on clutchpoints.com.
There you go. Mine hadn't much change. You can find me on X or Twitter at Logan F. Fowler. And you can find my written work with 1819 News and the Auburn Plainsman.
All right. Thank you so much for rejoining us here on Live from the Plains, and we will speak with you again soon.